Hi everybody, Armored Pants here and welcome back on channel, and today we are going to have a sneak peek of the new premium or collectible, it remains to be seen, tier 10 Russian tank, the Object 260, and it is a beast of a tank as we look at it here in action. Just have a little bit of gameplay. I came across it in a game I was playing the other day, but I thought it would be good to have a look at it and see what its specifications are and if it's going to be any good. So let's have a look at it in Blitz. It's already up in Blitz, so you can check out all the stats there yourself. So what do we see about this tank? Well, firstly, we don't know how much it's going to be sold for, right? So that's the first thing, right? We don't know, are they going to give us some love? It's coming up to Valentine's Day. Or are they going to give us sort of love the same way that Tim Robbins got it in Shawshank Redemption with the mop and bucket scene? We don't know. Probably, I would say the latter. It's probably going to come in crates or some other fucking bullshit. It's unlikely it's going to come just as a tank for sale, either for gold or for cash, which is obviously going to be disappointing. But of course, maybe Wargaming will pleasantly surprise us. Maybe a monkey will jump out of my ass. Who knows? Let's see. In terms of the gun, it has a 122mm gun. Now, I should probably caveat everything I'm going to say by the fact that this tank is being tested at the moment, so therefore we don't know for sure if all of these stats we're going to look at remain the same. But they may be tweaked, but more or less the overall feel of the tank, the overall nuances around it should remain the same. Now, 122mm gun, if you use gun rammer, right, it's going to have just over an 8.4 second reload, under 8.5 second reload, which is fantastic. So this is going to have a lot of firepower, right? You are going to get 260mm of pen with gun rammer, going to do 420 damage on your alpha rolls with APCR. Heat, which is your Pramo, is going to give you 312mm of pen and 360 damage, and heat is going to give you 68mm of pen, and it's going to do 500 damage, right? Now, if you want to roll calibrated shells to get the pen numbers up, you're going to be running a reload of 9 seconds, which again is still pretty good, right, for tier 10 heavy. And you're going to get 273mm of pen then with APCR, which is your standard AP round. Your Pramo, which is heat, is going to go up to 343. And you are going to be up to 75mm of pen with HE, which is one of the reasons you might want to consider that. That is sort of the same pen you get with Hesh on a Tortoise. So, it's pretty good. And if you're doing 500 alpha rolls, you might want to consider doing that. Now, in terms of guns, depression, it's got 16 degrees of depression, 15 degrees of elevation. That's what you expect from Russian heavy, right? That's not what this tank is going to be about. It has low dispersion though, right? If you run a refined gun, its dispersion is only 2.77, so it's going to have an excellent gun handling index. And the other index that we calculate here on channel is the mobility index, and if we look at the mobility index, you can see it is going to be off the fucking charts. I haven't calculated yet because, as I said, this could all change, but it's going to be running somewhere around 3.54, which is like kind of low end medium tank mobility. It's just going to be phenomenal. It's going to be really mobile. It's going to be a heavium. And its concealment numbers, it's what you kind of expect. You're not expecting huge concealment numbers from a heavy, especially Russian heavy. That's not really what heavy tanks are about. But look at its power to weight ratio on all types of terrain and its traverse speed. It's going to be some tank to handle. If we look at the armor profile, just look at the armor profile, guys. I mean, this thing is going to be unbelievably difficult to pen. It's going to be sort of like a tier 10 Object 252U, which we know is a kind of OP tank in its tier. It's going to be mobile. It's going to be able to side scrape on it, forward and reverse. Turret looks almost impenetrable. If you look at it front on, if you're tier 9, very difficult to pen. Even at tier 10, difficult to pen. The lower plate's vulnerable. That's more or less it. If you've got somebody who knows what they're doing, can angle and can side scrape in this thing, you're going to get bounces all day long. But of course, with that mobility and that rate of fire, this thing is going to be, as the Black Crows used to say, fucking hard to handle. So this is going to be an awesome tank, right? Now, it's going to be, really is going to be a desirable tank, and what people are going to want. It's going to be the tier 10 equivalent of the T22 medium for medium tanks at tier 10. So the question is, how are Wargaming going to deliver it? Well, firstly, they may nerf some of these stats, so we need to be aware of that. but probably not too much, if at all. And the question is then, how are they going to deliver? How are we going to get it, right? And that's the age-old question, right? It's a $64 million question. Are they going to fuck us with crates, or are they going to maybe just let it buy it for cash or for gold? I don't know is the answer, but probably given their history and given the way that they like to abuse the player base and milk it as much as possible, I'd say it's going to be in crates. What update it's going to be coming, we don't know because it's only being tested. And it depends on the test results then, how much they have to tweak it, etc. That will depend on the update, but it will be coming in the next 1 or 2 updates because obviously they put a lot of development into it. So let's watch this space. But what I can say is, because now we don't know how it's going to be sold or how much it's going to be sold for, it is definitely a tank which is desirable. Now it only remains if it is attainable. So guys, I hope you found that useful, I hope you found it enjoyable. And now I guess all remains for me to say is, as always, pants off.